I'm Brendan Bradley, expert historian on the top secret military CIA-operated base in the Nevada test site known as Area 51. No other covert government operation, if we may call the base an operation, draws so much controversy and mystery. Shrouded by accusations of alien dealings, UFOs, and other sinister things, the truth is far different. Area 51 originated after World War II during the Cold War with Russia as a place to test and operate the completely revolutionary, high-altitude spy plane known as the U-2. Area 51 began with a conceptualized project in 1954, Project Aquatone, headed by Robert Bissell, who we have on interview. In 1955, Bissell founded the base and started up operations there. After a mixture of failure and success on spying in Russia and dealings with Cuba, the CIA then utilized the A-12 Oxcart, of which the famous variant, the Blackbird, comes from. Wrestling with the Air Force for control of the base, the CIA continued their work there, often without the support of the echelons of the government. Momentarily, we will introduce Richard Bissell, who headed Project Aquatone.
Killen recruited me to head Project Aquatone, the top secret U-2 spy plane program.
He worked there for many years, rising up in the ranks until his premature dismissal, due to much controversy between the Air Force and the CIA.
We had to choose a site to begin our spy plane operations out in the government lands of Nevada. As we flew overhead Groom Lake, we found what we thought was the ideal place, and as we landed, we started up at Area 51. This Lockheed sent in their prototype U-2s. The CIA pilots came in, and from dusk to dawn, we trained them every day at record-breaking altitudes in covert flying and reconnaissance.
The amount of secrecy that went into Area 51 is amazing. With famous events such as the Roswell alien crash, the government quickly responded, going there, taking the parts, taking them back to the Area 51 base in the Nevada test site. In other instances, with downed pilots, they covered it up as a weather balloon crashing. And even in Russia, when their U-2 planes were shot down, they claimed that they had no idea it was happening.
Yeah, I was down on my luck. When I heard about a job opportunity and I applied, I got the job and was told to report to this one airfield. I was brought to what I later learned was Area 51, and I worked as security guard. I remember one day I had to guard a nuclear reactor during a testing day. No one was allowed near the generator, because if one thing went wrong, we all went boom.
One day, these gentlemen came to the door asking for my husband. So he took them to the living room, and 30 minutes later approached me in the kitchen saying he had a new job out in Nevada.
It's like something out of fiction.
He had to move west as soon as
I was given a date and told to be at room 215 at the Austin Hotel and knock on that door at exactly 3:15. So I went down there and at the appointed time and I knocked on that door. An extremely good-looking guy in a beautiful tweed opened it and said, "Come on in, Herbie." That was my first introduction to the agency.
You know, it's strange. My husband is at work Monday through Friday, but he stays overnight. He tells me he's in the appliance business, but I don't buy it. It's all very mysterious.
Taking a part in the Vietnam War and the Bay of Pigs invasion, Area 51 truly had a hand in most covert government operations. Its planes were always there, but few people knew it.
Area 51 was a very controversial place, but not in the way you'd expect. As the Air Force learned of our projects, they started their own works in aerial reconnaissance. Using the U-2 and later the A-12 Oxcart, just like we did, disagreement between us, the CIA, and the Air Force flared up, as they believed they should control all airplane-related operations. This sparked much resentment for our operations from the upper echelons of the government, and Area 51 was ever the subject of debate.
The A-12 originated in Area 51, brought there by Lockheed. But fighting with the Air Force over who deserved to control it, it was shut down in 1968. And the SR-71 Blackbird, the Air Force variant, continued full steam ahead.
As soon as we woke up, we got suited up. It could take upwards of 2 hours to get all the equipment on. The thought that we were flying the most high-tech planes in the world could be nerve-wracking. We could hit 2,200 miles per hour, Mach 3 speed. But for the A-12 Oxcart, we mostly did test flights. We never really got out into the field. It's a pity they closed the program. Those dang Air Force guys just couldn't let us be. We did get some missions over in Vietnam, but not enough. Fortunately, most of us CIA guys were recruited again by the Air Force to continue flying their SR-71 Blackbirds.
We needed to be invisible and vulnerable to Russian radar.
Interestingly enough, we secured an interview with Edward Novick, who came to Annie Jacobsen, the author of Area 51, with his story. His story was the story of Area 51, and he pointed her to further resources. He is the reason we know so much about it. Here's him with his story.
I was recruited by the guys at Area 51 to help make their planes invisible. It was a feat unlike any other in espionage history. Their planes had the speed, they had the altitude of 70,000 feet. They just needed to be invisible. That's where me and my boys came in. The radar works like a bat. The bat squeaks and its sound hits the bug. We're the bug, and we had to cover ourselves however we could to scramble the radar. We must have tried 100 different things. Me and Bissell made many trips to DC to give progress reports, and they never seemed pleased. We couldn't work fast enough.
But the spy plane programs, the U-2 and the A-12, were only half of what happened at Area 51. Atomic testing went there full scale, constantly, with over 70,000 bombs loosed during the Cold War for testing purposes.
You can't even begin to imagine the amount of underground chambers we exploded nuclear bombs in. Chambers that will never be accessible to mankind again. The amount of money poured into our projects was astounding.
The bombs they considered low yield were still twice the size of the ones dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. In fact, atomic testing saved the base. After the death of the U-2, Area 51 became somewhat a ghost town. But with atomic testing beginning in full swing, it became a boom town.
You know, it's crazy. There were indeed atomic accidents. Cleaning up the plutonium radiation was quite the chore. But isn't it amazing how the public never found out? We sure knew how to cover things up there. We did.
Area 51 indeed revolutionized high-altitude, high-speed espionage with their U-2 and A-12 planes. Though they did not succeed in the long run in these and lost their ground to the Air Force, they continue to operate in secrecy today. Less is known of what happens today than back then, for declassification takes many years to occur. We know there is nuclear testing, we know there is other high-tech military-grade testing, but we really can never know the full truth. Annie Jacobsen secured an interview with Area 51 personnel, who was there from the start. He wished to remain nameless, but he did leave her with these chilling words. When asking if a crouton, in comparison to the size of a plate, was about how much knowledge she knew of the base, the man shook his head sadly and said, "My dear, the crouton compared with this table, this whole restaurant, barely covers the truth of Area 51.